My void will consume you, if you ask nicely.
Your will is no longer your own.
Stay away from the voodoo. To arms!
You have led the Horde to a place without honor.
Your petty quarrels only make me stronger.
Our world needs us, champion.
You got it over your head.
We cannot let the world fall to darkness.
Already lost.
Put your faith in the light, and all is possible.
Is it truly righteousness that drives you? I wonder.
It would seem you have guessed.
They are coming for you. This is the Whispers of Whispers.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 68. I'm your host Sil, and let's jump into the whole WoW shenanigans. So today is New Year's Eve. I didn't think I was going to release a show, but you know what? I took some painkillers. I was going to say drugs, but that sounds really bad. I took some painkillers and still feeling a bit grotty, but enough. I can make a show, so I thought, why not? Why not do it now? Just to finish the old year completely and start afresh with next week. So what has been happening for me in World of Warcraft? Actually a lot. No classic WoW. I'm sure after the 8th we'll start talking about it again. So I'm still leveling in Alterac Valley. I only have 3 characters now that I have not leveled to 120 yet, that are over the 60 range, which is my monk, my mage and my warrior. They're all between 103 and 110, so it's not going to take lots of games to level them up. And yeah, I just figured, you know, why not do this now? So that's been going on, just leveling slowly in Alterac Valley with 4 of them, or 3 of them. What else? I've done some heritage gear, so that was fun. I got the heritage gear for the gnomes. I have to say that it felt a lot easier than the ones for the blood elves, if I'm honest. So the blood elf final boss that you have to do, not the final boss, but one of the constructs that you have in there, that was hard. Whereas the gnome one, you have other gnomes fighting with you, so it's a little bit easier. But it's still not an easy one, honestly. I guess, you know, because I think I did die several times. You have to figure out how to dodge things properly. And on my gnome, which was a warlock, it's not that easy. Yeah, or I just suck. I just suck at warlock, and that was why. But luckily, because the other NPCs that come with you fight with you, the boss doesn't reset to his full health when you restart it. So that was good. I was quite happy with that. So you slowly make progress, unlike the one with the blood elves. But yeah, I got my heritage gear, and I have to say that I really think it looks amazing on gnomes. I'm really impressed with it. So yeah, now I just have to get my dwarf up, because she's 120 now, thanks to Alterac Valley. But she doesn't have a lot of reps, so I need to equip the tabard and then go into something like Mana Tombs and just do that over and over. I think as soon as I've leveled, because you still get a bonus to reputation gains with this buff, so why not try and do it now, right? Yeah, so that happened, and I think I've already said that I reached Exalted with the Mechanomes. So they are unlocked for when 8.3 opens or hits us, so that's in 2-3 weeks. And then I got some mounts. So I actually got my fox mount. I believe I said last week that I got the Torn Invitation, which was great and on the first go, so I didn't have to worry about that anymore. Just had to do the dailies, send up my followers for the missions, and then do the quest, which is very simple at 120. And I was just really, I don't know, it's my favorite mount now. Ground mount, that is. I don't know, I like the animations, I like the little bushy tail, so I have a suspicion I'll probably really love Valpera riding a fox, so yeah. Other than that, I've also been running around in the Dalaran sewers, just gathering these chests or mobs that are there, the elites. As 120, it's so easy and it goes really quick. So that took me about 3 or 4 mornings. I have to admit, when you're doing that during a normal work week, it's probably easy because there's almost no one there anymore. And it didn't take me long to get 20,000 eyes, I think it is. You know, I did a little bit of PvP as soon as I saw someone coming in there. And it was PvP enabled, or I kind of put it on enabled. I would just try some PvP, and that was very easy because most of the people were at level 100 and I was 120, so I think people knew not to grab my chests because I was quite, you know, I was on a mission. I was on a mission to get the Rat Stallion. So I got the Rat mount, which was, it's a cool mount. I like it. I like that it's so unique. So those were the 2 mounts from Legion that I really, really wanted. Very happy that I got those now. That means that I don't have to go into the sewers anymore, and I could just focus on other things. But I really want to gear my my Void Elf Rogue, if my guild is so lovely to carry my ass a bit more. So yeah, really am enjoying it again. I feel like I'm spending so many days in Warcraft, but it's all AV grinding at the moment still. I really want to finish this grind so that I can say, you know, I set myself a goal and I got it. I need to actually check what my goals were for last year, because I made a little tiny bit of a bucket list for World of Warcraft for 2019. I need to check if I did that. And then make a new list for the new year, which is upon us quite soon actually. So yeah, all fun and games really. So I'm going to leave you now with an interview I had with the lovely Jarf, who you might remember from previous shows. And then I'll come back to some of the Twitter stuff about your highlights in 2019. And that's going to be it for the new year. So I'll see you after the interview. And today I'm being joined by someone who's been on the show before. Welcome back, Jarf.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
How are you? That's the big question.
Very cold. I recently made the move from middle of the United States from Missouri to the northeastern corner of Maine, moving to Isabella, and it went from being like nice tropic weather to, oh holy crap, it's cold up here.
So did you have to update your wardrobe a little bit with winter clothes?
Working on that still, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think it's probably a lot colder where you are than it is here. It's still, I mean, I am English, or almost English, you know. I have to start talking about the weather a little bit. It's only, well, it's actually dry this week, which is nice for Christmas and New Year's, but it's still cold. And for me, cold is anything that's around the 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. I'm sure it's a lot colder where you are.
You know what, I'm not sure about that. I know it's been in the like 30-degree Fahrenheit in the last couple days, but we've had up down to like 15 degrees, which I know is below zero for you guys. So.
Oh, no, don't like that.
back in Missouri, where I'm from, on Christmas Day they were in the mid 60s in Fahrenheit. Ooh. And I'm just like, where's my warm weather? I miss it. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so now that we've done the mandatory weather talk, let's go to World of Warcraft. So nowadays, are you playing Horde or Alliance?
In the small lull of the expansion before 8.3 drops, I'm kind of just doing whatever. I was focusing on my Horde in like the first year of the expansion, and now I've been just trying to focus back on my Alliance. But with 8.3 about to drop, I've been trying to get the Voldani and Mechagon reps up so I can unlock the allied races for the Vulpir and the Mecha Gnomes. So it's kind of been just whatever.
How is that going? Your reputation rep? Because I'm sure that you're not a rep grind. Because I'm sure more people are in the middle of doing that at the moment before 8.3 hits us.
Well, with the character I had that was like almost exalted with everybody on the Horde side, he's locked behind a paywall with Blizzard, and I'm trying to get that sorted out. So I have to default to my secondary Demon Hunter. Thankfully, he was friendly with the Voldani, so I'm already halfway through Honored, and I was just doing some world quests the other day. So it's going slowly, but it's there. But on the Alliance, my Demon Hunter, he was neutral with the Mechagon. So yeah, starting from scratch there is not fun.
No, I bet. Luckily, with the anniversary buff, you get 10%. You know, it's something. I know it's not amazing, but it's still, every little bit helps, I guess.
Yeah, and then with next week, I know the anniversary ends next week, I believe, but the Darkmoon Fair is in town, so get that little bit there as well.
That's true. That's very true. And I think at the moment, at least in Europe, there's the World Quest buff, so you get extra for that as well. So there's ways of getting it, but it's still tedious. I know what you mean. I had to do it myself for the Mechanomes. That was just at a certain point, I was not enjoying it. But you know, it's mandatory now. I think we know what rep grinding is. If you want to unlock flying or if you want to get allied races, you have no choice.
Yeah, and I have every allied race unlocked other than the Vulpira and the Mechanomes. So gotta get those done so I can have those races to create characters with.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say is your main nowadays? Have you switched it all in this time, or because I know that you said you had to, your main on the Horde is behind a wall at the moment, but do you still consider that your main, or?
Well, I mean, my Blood Elf Warrior was my main for the first part of the expansion, but recently it's been my Blood Elf Demon Hunter. Now, I also did create a Coltarian Druid on another server, so I'm leveling him. So he's been my main focus the last few weeks, but it's mainly one of my two Demon Hunters.
Okay. Why Demon Hunter?
Either Blood Elf or Night Elf.
Okay. Is there a specific reason? Do you like Demon Hunters just with their... I've heard that people really like how movement-based the class is.
To me...
Or is it any other reason?
Well, to me, because with Legion came out and they're like, hey, you got the new hero class. Now, I was a big fan of Deathknights back when Wrath came out, and I still have several Deathknights. And they're the reason why I'm looking forward to Shadowlands. But with just the new flavor of the month, as it were, back in Legion, and I enjoyed the mobility, as you stated, of the Demon Hunter. You've got the dash, you've got the jump, you've got the double jump, you got the glide. It's just... they're not nearly as heavy in their movement as a warrior or any other plate-wearing class, but they don't have the squishiness of a cloth-wearing class. So they're the mixture of like my rogues and the druids combined with flying. So I'm okay with that.
That's not a bad way of putting it. It sounds very appealing. Okay. How did it all start for you? What got you into World of Warcraft?
Well, I grew up playing the RTS games, Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, and then even Warcraft 3. And so I fell in love with the Warcraft universe. I even read several of the books. Now, my dad was a MMO player with EverQuest and EverQuest 2, and when WoW dropped, he pre-ordered the game, went and picked it up. He created a Night Elf Druid, like he used to play an Elven Druid back in D&D days in the early 80s, so he was a big fan of Druids. He played it for 3 days, said, I don't like it, graphics too cartoony. I'm like, you know what? I'll take it off your hands. So he gave me the account, and it's been mine ever since, and I've played on and off the last 15 years, so...
It's not a bad deal.
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, you've already stated, that you've played for a while, but we've had the BlizzCon, because I can still say this year, because it will still be 2019. So we had the BlizzCon announcement of Shadowlands this year. What are your feelings about Shadowlands? Are there any particular things you're really enthusiastic about? Some things that you're a bit like, what did you think of the cinematic?
The cinematic was amazing. The fact that they brought Bolvar back and showed him as the Lich King blew my mind. And then you see Sylvanas pick up the helm and she just tore it apart to rip that hole in reality. It's like, oh, holy crap. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. Now, I was looking forward to the expansion, the announcement. They made it. I'm like, awesome, excellent. I'm looking forward to the fact that you make anything a Death Knight now. Because ever since Mist Pandaria was released, I always wanted a Pandaren Death Knight. Now I'm going to get one. I think it'd be great. Just have Death Knight as anybody. One of the guys I was working with at the job I had when Shadowlands was announced, we made our mind up to make, I think, either Mag Orc Death Knights or Void Elf Death Knights together and level them, so we can have fun with that. And it's the fact that they're revamping the Death Knight starting area I'm looking forward to, because that's old and stale now. So, but I'm not looking forward to the level squish. I think that's a stupid idea.
Okay, how come?
Because, okay, I know they've got, 8 expansions now, and if you start at level 1 or even level 20, you gotta go through all the expansions to get to where you want to go. And the scaling system, I think, is a great idea, but the level squish, because that means now if you start out with a fresh character and you don't have Shadowlands, I don't know how to explain it without making myself confused. It's just the power to me not going to be there anymore. I don't like it. I like the feeling of, hey, look, I'm 120. Hey, look, I got all these abilities, all these powers. I spent all this time and effort to create this character, and now we're being pushed back down to 60. It just seems kind of redundant. But
okay, do you? Because I'm going to play devil's advocate, of course, with this, like I always do with anything. Do you think it could be a reason that they did it because it seems quite intimidating for new players to go like, okay, I'm starting at level 1. Oh, I need to get to level. Well, it would have been 130, I guess, with Shadowlands. Do you think that's one of the reasons, or do you think it's for them to make things really fresh again, or
probably both of those reasons. Probably to make it a different experience than what it's been for the last 14, 15 years. To make it less daunting for new characters, new players, or even people who are just creating new alts to mess around with. To probably also make the system less taxing, because when you got all those numbers out there, that's why they've done the item squish 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the system can only handle so many numbers at one time, and if you start throwing level 130s around with 2.5 million damage all the time, something's gonna break. So there is a technical aspect to it as well, along with just the fact they're gonna make it easier and less daunting for people, be it new players, be it returning players who haven't played in forever, or even people just want to create alts to do whatever with. So.
Does it just feel like less of an achievement for you when you just say level 60 instead of level 130?
Yes, and I hate to be the guy, because I hate those people that do that. Like, hey, I've been playing blah blah blah, and I'm normally one of those guys. But to me, it's an achievement that I've gotten 12 characters at 120 or 15 characters at 110 or whatever, because it takes a lot of effort to do that. Now we're just gonna go back down to 60, and it's just so.
Okay. How do you feel though? Let's put the level squash aside for that fact that instead of 130 you become 60. How do you feel about the fact though that they've changed the leveling on its own, so that now when you start to level, you start in the basics, that you start in an area where there also will be a dungeon, so you get used to that, what it's like to team up and what a dungeon could be like. And the fact that you can actually now choose where you want to go. Very much like, now we have, like the mission board. This level you can go here, here, and here. But now it will be like, which expansion do you want to pick? How do you feel about that they've changed that completely? So you don't level a little bit in well, my route always seems to be like Duskwood. Then I'm like halfway, or I'm like, okay, well, I'm done now with Duskwood. I just want to go Stranglethorn, and then... by the time I'm done that, it's like, Outland Time or Northrend for like 1 or 2 levels.
Yeah, before you have to go to like Pandaria or excuse me, Cataclysm or something like that. You know, I guess if you look at it that way, it's going to be an interesting idea, because my favorite expansion, other than Legion, has always been Mist Pandaria. And every time I get the chance to take a new character to Pandaria, I take the chance, because just living in Pandaria to me it's the best expansion, or the best experience I've had in the game ever. So, because Pandaria is so rich, so beautiful, blah blah blah. The fact that we can pick what expansion to level in, I guess it's going to make it a bit, what's what I'm looking for, rewarding every time, because like, okay, so you take character A through Pandaria, and you take character B through Lich King, you take character C and D through Cataclysm, and then Burning Crusade, and then you take character F or even character G, one of those, you know, last characters you feel like leveling, take them through the torture that was Warlords of Draenor. So, or you want to start out and go hit the wall running and take character A, and we're gonna go with the Legion straight off, and then deal with everybody else in separate ascensions. I guess that's one way to look at it, but I don't know. To me, I'm still not gonna. I mean, as of right now, until I actually see it in practice, I don't like the idea. Now, I probably will when the time comes, because it'll be easier, but I'm that crotchety old man sitting in the corner saying, "Kid, get off my lawn." So there you go.
Have you ever had that with an expansion, that you heard something and you were a bit like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that, and then it changed? Or was there something that you really just didn't like and it never got any better?
You know, not really. Out of most expansions, I've enjoyed all of the ideas they've had behind them. I don't know why people have such, what's what I'm looking for, negativity to a lot of the ideas behind the expansions. Like you see the reaction to like the Shadowlands trailer. There's a ton of praise, and then you get the people in that little dark corner that have to bitch about anything. Oh, Sylvanas is not supposed to dress this way. Oh, Sylvanas is not supposed to talk this way. Or they nitpick everything. Other than what they've announced for... Oh, that's what it was. In Legion, this level scaling. I didn't like the idea of level scaling. That's what it was. Because I like the idea of, okay, I'm level 40 in Duskwood, and it's like a level 20 zone. I want to be able to just run in, kill everything with one hit, and move on. And I didn't like the idea of, oh hey, it's going to scale up with you until level 60. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. That means it's going to be a real pain in the ass to be able to kill anything in the area, because I suck at leveling. But after experiencing the level scaling for the last 2-3 years with all the characters I've leveled, you know, other than it being a pain in the ass while you're playing the expansion, currently leveling up to the max level, doing it as a new character or a new ult or whatever, it's not really that bad.
Okay.
So my mind has changed on level scaling.
Okay, well, who knows? It might change this time around as well. But I think you're not the only one who you know, has a bit of hesitation now and again with what they show, and because we only get like half the details, really, because they can't really dive into it completely and show you exactly how it would work. And it's a completely different thing also doing it yourself than seeing it, I guess. With the Covenants, because that's also another thing that they've announced, what was your feeling about the Covenants when they revealed that?
It made me think of the Scryers and Aldor factions in Burning Crusade. Obviously, we're gonna have to choose a side, and I know we get armor and abilities and all that based on whatever covenant you choose. But I thought that's what everybody thought we were in when we do the Scryers or Aldor. But in my experience, when you choose one of those guys, nothing really came of it. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So.
Okay. Do you have your eye on a certain covenant you want to join first?
It depends on which character I'm playing, because as you have done with some of your RP characters, a lot of my characters, in my mind, I have attitudes with them. Like they have
Okay.
loyalties. They have, I've got backstories made up in my mind. I can't put the words. So,
Yeah, I
like
love that.
my Worgen may go with like the Necrolords or even the Night Fae.
Okay.
But like my Demon Hunters will probably go with like the
Venter?
Yeah, that's it. Especially my Blood Elf Demon Hunter. Just it depends on the character and which one. I obviously with as many, because I've got almost max amount of tunes in my account. I will probably end up playing all 4 Covenants, just to experience all 4 of them.
Okay. I think, a lot of us are probably going to do that just to see. Luckily, we get the story from all of them, but it's nice to see what sort of rewards and differences the different Covenants have.
Yes.
How have you, because, WoW has been out there now for 15 years, how have you experienced because it's still going on, the anniversary and everything that was with it?
The 15% rep and experience bonus has been nice. The little mini classic raids where you go kill all of those classic bosses, that was entertaining the first time I did it, because that's when I got my mount. But actually, and the first time I did it, when we did the Ragnaros fight, we were bugged.
Oh.
So like, we would start fighting Ragnaros, and then it would reset. Like you'd see the little twirly chromy thing, and we'd start right back in the spot we were at. But his damage hadn't changed. His damage was still going down, but our movement and our placements of our tunes had been reset. So the phases weren't reset or anything like that, but it's really frustrating. But we got it. I got my mount. I was quite happy. Then when I helped my buddy from my job, and when I helped Elizabella to go get hers, for her it took us 3 different nights to get it, because either the raid group was incompetent about mechanics, they just thought they could face roll everything, or it just Ragnaros wouldn't die. Because it was always Ragnaros that we had problems with.
I've heard many people have issues with that. I think the event did suffer in the beginning from bugs. I remember when my guild, when I attempted it with them, like the first time we had to do Huygen, for some weird reason he was dead after like 2 seconds, and we don't know what happened. We didn't even have to do the whole dance thing with the slimes, and then something went wrong, and some of us didn't get portaled in for the next fight, and we had to redo it, and then it took a lot longer. So yeah, I think there were some bugs there going around, unfortunately. Okay, how have you done any, where I live now, I guess, Alterac Valley?
No, I have not been into the battleground yet. I went to Korik's Revenge once. And actually, no, I've been in there twice. I went with my Goblin Death Knight. I had to go to the bathroom while I was in the middle of it. When I came back, I'd been booted. Then I went in with my Cold Tear and Druid and got a level and a half out of it. That's literally all I've done so far.
Okay. Do you think you're going to attempt it still for the mounts?
I want to. I just don't like PvP.
It's true. I'll be honest. This Alterac Valley, it doesn't really feel like PvP. It feels like very much PvE with a little bit of, okay, you can get killed now and again. But I don't know. I feel like it's just rushing to the towers. And most of the time, factions just ignore each other.
Well, I wish it was that true on my server. Every time I played it, and I saw a group of people, I'd either try to run away or I'd stand there and I'd get ganked by, 2 rogues and a priest?
Ouch.
All those stupid stun locks. I hated that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to mention about the anniversary, or maybe the event? I think it's Wintersville still at the moment.
Yeah.
And Shadowlands.
Well, I'm looking forward to Shadowlands and the what's the word I'm looking for? Possibility of being able to create the Deathknights with 8.3 if you pre-ordered, to me is amazing. I still need to get my creator in, but as soon as I do, I'm deleting a bunch of characters to make more Deathknights.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the only one, I think.
As soon as they, back when they unlocked the ability for you to create more than one Death Knight per realm, this is before I had max amount of characters, I went through and created 3 Death Knights per realm. Because I've enjoyed Death Knights so much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the story, 'cause that's the one thing that's kept me invested in more WoW since day one is the story. I want to see where it goes. The Winter's Veil event has kind of been meh so far. I don't know, the presents were kind of lackluster as it were, and I don't really have that many friends that play around anymore. I got 2 friends that have been obsessed with Classic since it was released. Bella has been busy doing other things, so I haven't been able to play with her, and it's just nobody else I know plays, so I've been kind of meh.
Okay.
And then the anniversary event, I was happy when we did it with to get the Deathwing mount. I liked the bonus, of course. I wish the anniversary bonus would stay a lot longer than 2 months, because it's nice getting that extra rep and extra XP. I need to go back and actually do the Originals quest. I've still got it and haven't had a chance to finish it yet, but other than that, I've enjoyed the anniversary event more than I've enjoyed either Pilgrim's Bounty or Winter's Veil so far.
Okay. Question. When you look at, you mentioned Classic there briefly. Have you jumped into Classic at all?
Yeah, I logged into Classic a couple of times. I leveled a character up to, I think, level 15, and then stopped. The buddy of mine that I was leveling with, he started having an issue with Blizzard and their policy about the whole Hong Kong protests, so he quit playing, and I haven't had a reason to go back into Classic, because I remember Classic the way it was, and I did not like it. So
Fair enough. Okay, so let's go to the story then, at this point in time. So how do you feel about the fact that the factions are sort of at peace? I use the word peace quite freely here because we are talking about Warcraft. How do you feel about where we are standing now with the 2 factions?
I'm hoping for the day to when they eliminate the 2 factions, or at least allow characters to cross. I hate to use the term from cosplaying, but crossplay. I'm glad I hate when they're at war, because to me, in this point in the story, with everything that everybody's been through on the world of Azeroth, it makes no sense at all. So I'm looking forward to the day when an orc could walk on the Stormwind and not be threatened with death, and actually walk openly, not walking under the cover of subterfuge or whatever. So, yeah.
If that would be the case, would you switch factions?
If they allowed us to create characters, like a human to the Horde, or a Tauren to the Alliance, yes, I would create characters and actually play them on the other factions. I'd love to have Forsaken in the Alliance. I'd love to be able to take my Night Elf and go join the Horde. A Dwarf in the Horde with the Goblins, or even a Goblin joining the Gnomes down in Gnomeregan to take Gnomeregan back in the Alliance. So.
Okay. Well, what is the appeal in that?
It's just the fact, to me, especially if you think of it with the backstory, because I do roleplay occasionally in the game, just not as often as I'd like to. Take the character with the story that you have in your mind and see it in game. Hey, this character, like Thrall. Thrall was raised by humans in captivity. If he hadn't been raised in captivity, Thrall probably would have been a very productive member of the Alliance. Instead, he leaves Blackmoor's not care, but servitude, and forms the Horde with the rest of the guys. It'd be interesting to see the stories of these characters that are set in one thing, being in a different thing, like the Forsaken coming back to the Alliance and actually seeing humans allowing the Forsaken back in instead of, oh, you're dead, I don't like you anymore. So
Okay. I find it still baffling that we don't have that, especially now with the little icons that we had. I was hoping that would be a big reveal, but it doesn't seem that we'll be getting that. But yeah, it is very interesting, I think, to see that. And I wonder if a lot of people would change factions or roll new races on their current factions if they could do that. Okay, let's go to the community. What has the Warcraft community meant to you personally?
well, it has allowed me to meet people in my life I never thought I would meet, like Bella. I heard her through the podcast of Epic Questions with Epic Sanity, and how she was on All Things Azeroth for a few episodes with Medros. And listening to her and her insights in the game, and just be able to meet her through Twitter, and finally moving up here to be with her, so it gave me a partner that I never thought I'd have in my life. It also allowed me to meet like podcasters like yourself and Ro and EJ and Raven from Girls Gone WoW. It's just it's expanded my universe, as it were. It also allows me to see the positive and negative sides to humanity, because the negative side of the Warcraft and Blizzard community is almost as toxic as it is in anywhere else in life. So, but the positive side is just as about as good as it should be anywhere else in life too. So, it gave me a different worldview, but it also gave me friends and people I never thought I'd meet, because I've never thought I'd meet people living in England, much less northeastern United States. So.
That's really nice. I always like hearing stories like that. Okay, Jarf, we're going to the final question for people who have been on the show before. It's a bit of a tricky one. What is your favorite in-game food?
Well, I would, since I have actually had it in real life, Westfall stew is very good.
Okay.
Former roommate of mine, the gentleman whose house I left to move up here to be with Bella, he had bought the Warcraft cookbook, and one day we all decided, hey, we're going to go buy the ingredients, we're going to make Westfall stew. That was delicious. So
that's a definite recommendation for people to buy the book, because the food actually is really nice in it.
Yes it is. But in game, since it is Winter's Veil, the minces, fruitcake, and the candy canes are some of the best food you could eat. And the Christmas tree cookies, those are also really good, because they give you the 5 or 10% back per second while you're eating them. So
and I think they look really festive, especially the candy canes. I love seeing those icons. It just looks really nice.
Yes, I like the little Christmas tree cookies because they're a frosted Christmas tree.
And I think that's so like current for the season. All right. Well, thank you for the interview, Jarf. If people wanna find you or get into touch with you, where can they do that?
The best way to find me or see anything that I actually post, which I very rarely do, is on Twitter, and I'm at Grandmaster Jarf, Jarf.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being a guest again. It's really nice talking to you again.
Thank you, Sil. I'm available anytime.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview. It's the last one for 2019, and then, hopefully we'll get many more interviews in 2020. I can say that I'm already talking to some amazing people from the community to see if they can be guests. Some people have agreed, so hold on for that. I'm not going to reveal who it is yet, just in case, but a few people have come back to me already, and I'm just working out dates and things like that. So going to be contacting a lot more people. But if you want to be a guest as well, you can just contact me over Twitter or send an email. The details will be at the end of the show. But yeah, just don't be shy, and just, you don't have to be a WoW celebrity, as I like to call them. But if you're just an average player like me, or a beginner even, or if you're a veteran, just, as long as you have something positive to say about Warcraft. That doesn't mean that you can't be critical, but, you know, there's too many people already who only talk negative about the game, and if you don't like it, then I don't see why you would want to be on a WoW podcast. But if you want to talk about World of Warcraft, then you want to do that on the show and you're happy to give me an interview, then get in touch. Right. Another way of getting in touch is, of course, answering the question of the week. Very smooth segue, if I may say so myself. So I asked the question, what is your highlight or highlights for 2019? And I'm going to butcher all your Twitter names again, like I always do. So Scribblevin said, the fandom's collective realization that Malfurion and Tyrande are terrible people. Yes, everyone knows I started off as a druid, and I was such a fangirl for the both of them. That changed over the years. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Not really. I don't know what really has changed. Maybe how they are written or something, but I'm not really enjoying their characters at the moment. So yeah, definitely a lot of people will feel that way. I'm sure there are people who love them, but I have to agree with Scribblevin. Nick said getting the Valajar and Army of the Light Paragon mounts. Also getting to watch all the awesome in-game cinematics. That is definitely a highlight, and congrats on those mounts. The Cranky Tank said finally soloing a bunch of mythic raid bosses from Legion would be up there for me. Well done. Gwen Dark Iris said finding my guild and raid team. Team Rip Prepot froze a book at Neo Toldir. Okay, I'm happy that you found a good guild and raid team. That's always fun. Spanky Hunter said, 2019 was the kind of year where nothing stands out, but I did a shitload of stuff in WoW. I had a blast. I'd say it was the fun grind year. It most definitely was a grind year. Wizard Life Studios said, I quit 6 months ago. Hope to be back next year. Maybe by then I can get invited friend benefits. Highlights are reading a couple of Warcraft books and watching cutscenes on YouTube. The world and lore is so good. That's really cool that you can still at least, get into the lore without actually having to play the game if you don't really want to sub for it. So, yeah, cool. Scrubs vs. the World said downing Ashara was pretty awesome. Yep, I have to agree. Downing Ashara was a very epic thing. Frasley said, the highlight for me has to be going to BlizzCon and realizing there are real people in this community. We all have a story. Yep. I have to agree. I mean, Frasley, I wish I was there at BlizzCon, but it must have been so epic. But it's just always, I loved seeing it on the ticket and just seeing the crowds and just feeling almost the enthusiasm through the screen. So, yeah, really, really cool. Let's continue. Archmage Annabelle said, finally looting Invincible Christmas Day. Now that's a good Christmas morning. That is pretty amazing. So congratulations on that. I'm very jealous. Justice said, found my raid team, face pull on Airy Pick US in the Convert to Raid community, and being able to meet many of them at BlizzCon. I have found my long-term home and I have many new friends for years to come. Hugs to all. Jordan said, killing Mythic Grong and getting the shoulders. I felt like a true Mythic Raider for the first time, which at this point has been a goal for over a year. Wow, congrats. Emma said, my highlight is still being on Frazzlecast, covering WoW events for Frazzlytastic. I can't believe the year is almost over. It has gone quick, hasn't it, guys? I mean, in all fairness, 2019 was a shitty year for me personally. I am very, very happy that it's going to end very soon in a few hours. So, yeah. I can't wait, really. Sai said, I know I cheated and said killing Ashara on my Scrubs vs. the World account, but I want to add being the only Alliance guild to get ahead of the curve in the Crucible of Storms on Garrus, North America. Congratulations. That's really, really cool. And the final one is from Violet V, who said, Wine Mom Ashara. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the Wine Mom is, or if it's a type or anything, but if you want to explain that, then send me another tweet, because maybe I'm just getting old and I just can't can't grasp it. And I lied, it's not the final tweet. The final tweet is from Asot, who said, I couldn't agree more. 2019 was only my second transition in 15 years. I've moved twice this year to from a great group to another great group. And now I find myself playing an expansion I don't enjoy. But with these people, raiding has been a pleasure. And I think that's when you know you have a good group. If you're playing a game that you don't really enjoy, but you enjoy doing it with those people. So, you know, it sounds like achievements and friendship all around for 2019. That's great. I think my biggest achievement for 2019, I think sticking with the podcast. Because I think we all know that I have a track record of starting podcasts and not completely like sticking to it. I've tried to do that now, so even though this one is a bit late, I'm still sticking with it, and I'm still enjoying it. And like I said, you know, I'm trying to get to talks with lots of people out there to get more interviews, but I want to hear from you guys. So if you want to contact the show, you can do that the following ways. You can find my issue, of course, on the internet. Go to whispersofwar.podbean.com for all the old shows and the show notes. Join us on Discord, dragonpoweredstudio.com/Discord. Twitter, whispers_of_war, or my personal one, which is McMonkeys with a Z. You can email whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com, and twitch.tv/McMonkeys with 2 Zs. I want to thank everyone for listening to the show for this year, 2019, who sent me so many words of encouraging loveliness, really. And yeah, it's been a crap year. Like I said, personally wise, for my in real life stuff that happened was pretty shit. But podcasting has always been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I love talking to everyone who's been a guest. I'm hoping to talk to many more people. And yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I don't think that without you guys and the podcast, I don't think I would have played that much WoW. So it's really your fault that I'm still playing the game. But it's been a good one. And I'm hoping that 2020 will be a great year for everyone else. If you're listening to this before New Year's Eve, before the changing of the years, then I hope you have a great evening. Be careful with fireworks. If it's the morning after and you're nursing a hangover, I'll probably know what you feel like. So I will see you all next week, and hopefully we'll already have like a great 2020 just from the first few days. So I'll talk to you all next week. Bye-bye!
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.